All right, it's Friday, World History. We're going to continue talking about some Chinese dynasties and some different philosophies that the Chinese had. So the next one we'll talk about is Taoism. So Taoism was an idea developed by a guy named Lao Tzu during the Han Dynasty. Uh, Tao is a universal things that guides all things. It means the way. It emphasized the natural order and relationship among living things. If you are a fan of Star Wars movies, this is the Force. A lot of the things that Taoism teaches is the same tenets of the Jedi in the Force. So, the video we watch in a little bit, there'll be a lot of comparisons given to Star Wars. The other big thing with Taoism, and you've probably heard mention of this before in some way, shape, or form, but you have yin and yang, two concepts that play off each other. So yin and yang is about achieving balance within the world. So you have earth and the heaven, you have positive and negative, male and female, light and dark, all those different things. So if you have more of one, then you have less of the other, and it's about achieving balance in the world.
Another religion that emerged in China was Taoism. It emerged in a similar time period as Confucianism, which the founder was Lao Tzu. As the story goes, he used to work in the government as a record keeper, but seeing so much corruption, he fled. And before he could enter the area of Tibet, people forced him to write down his teachings. And in 3 days, the Tao Te Ching, the text of Taoism, was created. He handed it over, and then he rode off on his water buffalo. It's an epic story. Obviously, this part of the story is a bit more difficult to corroborate, but the Tao Te Ching is still in use today. What is the big idea of Taoism? Which also, just so you know, it can be spelled with a T and said as Taoism. Taoists believe there's a force that runs all throughout the natural world. This is known as the Tao or the Way. Humans' jobs are to become one with the Force and then follow the Way, and then become Jedis. Okay, maybe I added that part. But let's be real. The language of Taoism sounds like the backstory to Star Wars. The Force, being one with the Tao. All we're missing is Luke and Yoda and Darth Vader, and we're there. Taoism believes that there are two forces that are represented in the yin and the yang. Two opposite but complementary principles: dark and light, male and female, active and passive. Again, dark side, light side. We're on to you, George Lucas. In regards to the deities or the gods besides the Tao, they do believe in other spiritual beings and in the mystical world. The idea of immortality is a part of the Taoist belief. Taoists burn incense and they do have priests as well. What is unique about the beliefs in Taoism is that, unlike Confucianism, where they seek to end the fighting and the disorder of society, the Taoist answer, much like the story of Lao Tzu and the water buffalo riding into the sunset, is just not to care. They should withdraw from political and social activism into the world of nature and live a simple life. I mean, Yoda, right? Well, I guess until he trains Luke, and then they harness the Force, and they take on Darth Vader, but I'll stop. Return of the Jedi was my favorite movie as a child. So another thing to know is that acupuncture was actually created by Taoists as a way to connect with a person's chi, the energy source which from what all life comes. Again, a quick nod to Iron Fist on Netflix and how Danny was trying to find his chi. I'm done. Okay, so Taoism remains mostly an Asian religion and spread throughout East Asia in mostly just China and Korea. Despite a very patriarchal society, the idea of female being complementary to male is in the idea of the yin and the yang. So there you have it. Thanks for tuning in and enduring all of my movie and TV comparisons. If you find this
The next thing that we will talk about is legalism. Legalism is an idea that people are evil by nature. So, Confucian teachings said that people were inherently good, and if you led them through positive reinforcement and positive examples, they would follow that lead. Legalism said no, people are generally bad. Legalists were referred to as a school of law because they rejected the Confucian or Tao view of government by superior man. That said you could solve society's problems by good leadership. Legalism said nope, you need a system of harsh impersonal laws. It was developed prior to the Qin Dynasty during a period of civil unrest, which, let's be honest, almost all ancient civilizations were going through a constant period of civil unrest. The ruler did not show compassion for his people at all. He set up a structure of laws that were very harsh, and if you didn't follow them, there was very strict and harsh punishments that followed. The one thing it was a very highly efficient and powerful government. Because if you stepped out of line, there was a severe penalty to pay. Basically, you rewarded good behavior and you strongly punished bad behavior. So, the Qin Dynasty, the first ruler of the Qin Dynasty to call himself emperor, was a guy by the name of Shi Hongdai. Shi Hongdai was a legalism proponent. He took it as far as they burned books. The feudal system, so you had your warlords and stuff like that, and the peasants and the warlords kind of worked together. Now it became much more in favor of the warlords, and the peasant laborers became harder. The defenses and the need for an army got stronger. This was the first ruler who started to dial back some of the powers of the warlords and the nobles that had been installed before. And this was the first real autocratic ruler of China. So he was, even though the rest of them had the title of kings, there was like a king and then 7 princes, and they all kind of ruled their own city. And if the king said, hey, do this, then you had to do that. But they were given a lot of autonomy to do what they wanted within their own city-states. This is the first guy that says, nope, I'm in charge. You do what I say or else. And again, legalism, harsh punishments. You did what he said. So some of the things that are in Shi Hongdai's legacy is he was developed and built the Great Wall of China. Great Wall of China is he built over 4,000 miles of roads, and he also was big into the irrigation projects. Also, along with his rule, they started to standardize money and writing. Laws were also standardized, and they started to expand trade in China. There is a picture of his temple. The other thing that happened with Shi Hongdai was in 1974, there was some farmers that were digging in the field, and they were digging a new well, and they came across this great big room and tomb of terracotta clay soldiers. It's known as the Terracotta Army. We'll watch a real quick video on the Terracotta Army.
Does your deodorant protect you all day? We gave new Dove Men Plus Care to Mike, who transforms homes for those in need.
I feel comfortable and protected all day long.
Dove Men Plus Care, 48-hour freshness with triple action moisturizer.
It's a vast pottery army which is slowly being unearthed from the tomb where it's lain for more than 2,000 years. At one time, when a Chinese ruler died,
I work in this site for many years, for decades. Yeah. So these warriors are all life-sized, like real soldiers. Also, they have a different facial features. You can tell from their hairstyle, their we call headgears, and they can tell their different ranks. The Terracotta Warriors was found accidentally. One day, a group of farmers dug in well here, and they find some pieces of the pottery. They also find the head of the Terracotta Warriors, and the team, archaeological team, came to this area and they start to dig. Originally in ancient China, like 3,000 years ago, they believed the afterlife. When the elites died, like king or noble people, they died, and they normally buried their servants with them. So the human sacrifice, and people start criticize the human sacrifice. So they think probably use the terracotta figures as a substitute. When we discovered in pit 3, very surprisingly, we find well-preserved colors. When we lift one terracotta warrior, terracotta bodies, so the very bright colors stick on the soil, very bright, red and pink, blue, green. The other colors are natural, like natural, probably mineral, or come from some plants. But the purple is chemical, from chemical reaction, so that kind of artificial. So these kind of chemical reaction, so only find in China. That's really revolutionary, that kind of technology in 2,000 years ago in Qin time. That was really fascinating part of my archaeological career. I feel I'm lucky. Also, I feel I have a responsibility. That's unique in China and also unique in the world. Even now I walk in, I still feel very impressed.
And here's some more pictures from the Terracotta Army. You can see there's some horses with them as well. It is believed that Shi Hongdai had them built by peasants to protect him in his death. So he wanted his army with him as he went to the afterlife. Okay, this last video, when we were talking about Egypt and you were singing songs that Mrs. Warren had played for you guys when you were in elementary school. I came across this as I was looking for different videos to put in here, and I could not resist. I hope you enjoy it. Have a good weekend. See you next week.
He was China's greatest ruler and the first ruler of the world. He was China's greatest ruler and the first ruler of the world. He changed all the systems and the way that China governed daily. Qin Shi Huangdi, a ruler for 11 years, from 221 BC, he ruled so great. cheers. He conquered many cities, states, including Chu and Zhou. He threatened to attack their towns if they dared to say no, no. Oh, 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 laws were decreed for you and for me. Oh, 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 taxes and fees were very costly. With his fierce military tactics, won't he revolutionize? His country from making and constructing great cultural projects. China, change for good. China, change for good. He unified the connection of the Great Wall, which travels 1,500 feet and stands 26 tall. First the walls were made of earth and stone, but changed to brick and other materials like stone and rocks made it thick, thick. Oh, 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 it can be seen from outer space. Oh, 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 it changed the whole human race. With his fierce military tactics, won't he revolutionize? His country by making and constructing great cultural projects. China, change for good. China, change for good. He wished to be immortal, so he drank various potions, but what killed him, though he planned ahead and built himself a mausoleum. 6,000 terracotta soldiers were created to protect him, but it resulted as a failure, as the thieves stole their limbs. With his fierce military tactics, won't he revolutionize? His country by making and constructing great cultural projects. With his fierce military tactics, won't he revolutionize? His country by making and constructing great cultural projects. With his fierce military tactics, won't he revolutionize? His country by making and constructing great cultural projects. China, change for good. China, change for good. China, change for good. China, change for good.
I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Have a good weekend. Good luck to the women's volleyball team. Wish you guys the best of luck this weekend, and I'll see you in a week or so. So have a good weekend. Talk to you guys later.